What is spirituality? Spirituality is a word we hear often, yet when we try to define it, it slips through our fingers. For some, spirituality means religion. For others, it's meditation, yoga, or a sense of inner peace. And for many, it's simply the feeling of being connected to something greater than themselves. But spirituality is far more universal and far more intimate than any single definition. Today, let's explore what spirituality truly is, why it matters, and how it touches every part of our life. 1. The essence of spirituality. Spirituality begins not with belief, but with experience, our own direct experience of being alive, aware, and connected. It starts when we ask the deeper questions. Who am I beyond my name, my role, my history? Why am I here? What makes life meaningful? These questions arise from within, not from textbooks. They signal the beginning of a journey, not outward, but inward. Spirituality is the exploration of that inner world. It shifts our focus from doing to being, from external achievements to internal clarity, from reacting to understanding. 2. Spirituality as connection. One of the most universal themes in spirituality is connection. Spirituality helps us feel connected to ourselves, to others, to nature, to the universe, or to the divine, not as a theory, but as a felt experience. In moments of stillness or insight, we sense that behind the noise of daily life lies a deeper unity. Some call it God. Some call it consciousness, source, the Tao, or simply the web of life. But the name isn't the point. The experience is. When we feel connected, compassion arises naturally. We see others not as strangers, but as reflections of ourselves. Their joy touches us. Their suffering matters. Spirituality softens the heart and widens the mind. 3. Spirituality as inner transformation. Spirituality is also a path of transformation. And like all transformation, it begins with awareness. Before we can change our patterns, we must see them. Before we can heal our wounds, we must acknowledge them. Before we can grow, we must understand what holds us back. Spirituality teaches us to observe our thoughts, our emotions, our beliefs, our reactions. Slowly, we begin to recognize that much of our suffering doesn't come from what happens to us, but from how we interpret what happens. As awareness deepens, something beautiful occurs. The mind becomes less reactive. The heart becomes more open. The spirit becomes more free. Meditation, mindfulness, prayer, contemplation, breathwork, all these practices support this inner transformation. They quiet the noise long enough for us to hear the wisdom already within us. For spirituality as meaning and purpose. Human beings need meaning. We need to feel that our life matters, that our journey fits into a bigger picture. Spirituality provides that sense of meaning, not by giving us rigid answers, but by guiding us to discover our own. For some, this meaning comes through a relationship with a divine presence. For others, it comes from the realization that life itself is sacred. And for many, meaning is found through service, creativity, growth, or the pursuit of truth. Spirituality reminds us that we are not just surviving, we are evolving. We are becoming. We are learning how to live more fully, more intentionally, and more lovingly. 5. Spirituality beyond religion. Spirituality and religion often overlap, but they are not the same. Religion provides structure, rituals, teachings, communities. It can be a powerful gateway into spiritual experience. But spirituality can also exist without religion. A person can be deeply spiritual without belonging to any tradition. They may find the sacred in nature rather than in scripture, or seek truth through silence rather than ceremony. Spirituality at its core is the direct experience of the sacred, whatever this sacred means to each of us. 6. Spirituality as the awakening of consciousness. At the deepest level, spirituality is the awakening of consciousness. It is the recognition that we are not just the body, not just the mind, not just the story we carry. We are the awareness behind it all, the witness, the presence, the stillness that experiences life but is not defined by experiences. When this realization dawns, even momentarily, life changes. Fear loosens its grip. Grasping softens. A quiet joy emerges. We begin to live not from the contracted identity of me and mine, but from a wider, more inclusive, more compassionate awareness. This is the essence of spiritual awakening. 7. Living spirituality every day. Spirituality isn't something we practice once a week or only during special moments. It's something we live. We live it when we pause to breathe instead of reacting in anger. When we listen with presence, we choose compassion over judgment. When we honor our inner truth. When we remember that every being is part of this same interconnected existence. Spirituality is not separate from life. It is life lived with awareness. So, what is spirituality? It is the journey of returning home to ourselves, to our inner wisdom, to the interconnected nature of all existence. It is the journey of awakening, of healing, of remembering who we truly are. And at its heart, spirituality invites us to live with more presence, more purpose, and more love. Because in the end, spirituality is not something we do. It is something we become.